Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Now, I am super excited because this morning we are chatting to Jessica from Sensor.i.am. And this is probably a topic that's pretty close to my heart. In my past life, if you haven't read in the what do we do Instagram post yesterday, I talked about how I used to be a national marketing manager for a fragrance company, and Jess is just here, and I'm just going to try and talk, and I've just waved at her instead of trying to let her in. So Jess just needs to request to be in this live, and then we're going to chat about all things natural fragrance, because when I was working at this amazing luxury perfume distributor, I actually became pregnant with my first son, and here we go, trying to multitask, and I found it quite challenging while I was pregnant to be around the fragrances. Here's Jess.
Hi.
Always a challenge trying to let someone in and talk. I can't do that, the multitasking. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you, Dallas. Great to be here this morning.
Oh, good, good. Well, we're very excited to have you, and I know we've got a lot to cover. And I was just talking, first of all, about how when I worked around fragrances when I was pregnant, and I probably didn't have this knowledge about what they contained, and I did have not some very nice symptoms. So let's just go back to you telling us how you, Jessica, and Emma started Sensorium and what inspired you.
Sure. So Emma and I have each had our own health, natural journey, returning back to, sort of the whole detox situation. My journey began actually when my marriage fell apart, sort of 8 or 9 years ago now, but it instigated a real look at everything in my life, in terms of anything that I felt wasn't healthy anymore, from relationships through to I started learning about products and what was on the ingredient list that I didn't understand, and becoming more conscious of choices that I was making. And then I'm a researcher. I love to research, and it just sort of went down this rabbit hole, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like everyone should know this and have more understanding of it to make a more aware choice. And so it was a long, winding journey there, but I could also start to see how hard it was as consumers to know exactly what to trust, who to trust, what all of the terms mean, etc. And so Emma and I are so passionate about demystifying that, doing the work, and we do all of the checking beforehand. But also we just love perfume. I mean, it's such a delicious area. It's our senses, it's play, it's joyfulness, and the natural perfume ranges that are available now, compared to those 8 or 9 years ago when I first started, are so much more sophisticated and really stack up. And Emma's health journey, she's been really not very well for a long time with rheumatoid arthritis, and has done a lot of natural therapies and a lot of natural healing to detox that out. And obviously product and perfume was a big part of that too.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And what I love is when we say fragrance, it is also not just perfume that you look at. You've got candles, and there's a real broad scope in the range. So do you want to tell us a bit about that? Because I also find it really exciting as well, how you said that it's quite a sophisticated range, because I was very lucky to be gifted a beautiful fragrance from you guys for my birthday. And I just loved it that it was called Aries, right, on my birthday. And the one thing I noticed about it was such, as you say, like alluring and intoxicating scent. But I was surprised as well how long it lasted on my skin, because I thought, oh, it probably won't last as long. But I had so many comments, and I still do every time I wear it. And so it's very exciting, to be that you guys are basically curating such a beautiful range.
Yes, I mean, it is exciting. And because when perfumers create a perfume using the naturals, they actually have a much narrower range of scents in terms of individually, compared to when synthetic perfumers, they have such a library because it's been created. We can almost create any sort of sense and nuance within it, within a lab though, from petroleum ingredients, with all sorts of other things sort of put in as well. So, but even though it's a narrower field that they work with within naturals, the complexity of it in that a rose scent is not just a single note. If you think about one note in a orchestra, or that you're playing, there's actually such depth even within that one particular scent, so that when they combine them together, the layers come through a bit like a symphony in a way. You'll talk in perfume about a top note, a middle note, and a base note. And what's particularly exciting is some of these natural perfumers now are using real Australian scents, some wattle seed oil and some beautiful Australian scents that come through as well.
Yeah, it's quite unique. And I think also once you do experience that, it is a little bit more noticeable to notice the synthetic scents. I mean, it is, I guess it's a little bit of instinct too, but I definitely can, I guess, by my, nose, tell quite, instantly the different depth in the scent, and also, I guess, just the effect on my body. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you might go about navigating, moving into more natural products and fragrance? Because I know a lot of people get quite overwhelmed by it and think, oh my gosh, I've just got to throw out my whole beauty cabinet, and then what is clean beauty and what is green beauty and where do I start? So I know, and particularly for women, a lot of women who are journeying into motherhood, and that might be through fertility, pregnancy, and also throughout the whole lifetime of motherhood as well.
Yeah, we become very sensitive during that period. Not only our senses are actually heightened, but we become more sensitive about bringing a new being into this world, and we are essentially responsible for it. And we get so much information about how much we eat, drink, etc. is impacting on that newborn coming through. So the navigation, first of all, the biggest toxin is stress. So don't stress about it because
That is such
that's
good advice.
really, it's going to actually make things worse no matter what product you're using. So first of all, give yourself grace. You're going through such a massive change anyway in terms of your biology, and trusting that whatever you do and some actions you take will make a big difference. And then it's really, I always say, it's just one product at a time in a way. So and that's often the thing that you use the most. So whether that's a moisturizer or a shampoo or something like that. So a lot of women find during pregnancy they actually like to go fragrance free because they do start reacting, and it causes nausea and things like that. So they often look for fragrance free, and there's a lot of naturals within the space that do have that in terms of products. So it's one at a time, and then it's doing a little bit of research yourself. But I find there's a really great app called the Chem Maze. CHEM Maze, and it's a great way of checking ingredients if you want to start going and doing that. But it's then finding others who have already done it perhaps and asking them, what do you use? What are your go-tos? They're always good places.
That's really good advice, because I think also as well, for me, I guess it's a bit like your taste during pregnancy changes, so your sense of smell changes. So some fragrances do become a lot stronger, or some that may not have been appealing become appealing. So it's also trying to navigate that. And let's touch on as well post-pregnancy, because I know, not that I'm an expert in this, but in the first month or a few months of postpartum, and I was told this personally when I was in hospital after my babies, not to wear fragrance because it was an important bonding time between you and Bubba. So what are your recommendations then?
So yeah, obviously I'm not a doctor or anything like that, in terms of, you always want to check with any of your health practitioners on decisions like these as well. But a lot of the research, as well as just ancient wisdom in a way, is around as humans and a newborn, getting to know your natural scent. I mean, there's even some footage, of incredible footage, where a newborn baby literally through smell and movement alone can find the nipple to take that first lot of colostrum and breastfeed. So there's so much instinct in there, and if we get in the way of that instinct by lathering ourselves with particular scents, and it's not just one, as you said, it's often then our shampoo and then our cleanser and then our perfume and then our room spray, then it's just an extra layer that is in the way a little bit, in terms of that real first month, skin to skin, just your smell, their smell. It creates that real close bond.
Yeah, yeah, that's so important. And also I guess that's another thing going back to what you said about don't stress about it, because I know it's not like, okay, you've got all this product, you might have invested in some beautiful natural scent, and then it's like, oh, I can't wear it. And it's I always like to say, pregnancy and recovery is temporary. It's not long term, so you can always go back to that. So it's not forever, and it's really just trusting your own journey and your own instinct and your own baby as well. So tell us a little bit as well about some of the fragrances you might recommend for mothers, particularly coming into Mother's Day, because I know
Mm.
some might want to give a few little hints.
That's true. I mean, on Sensor.i.am, you can get gift vouchers, so you can always drop that hint as a way of making your way through the range. I always like to say, go if you're choosing for somebody else, which is tricky with perfume, right? Fragrance is a very personal thing. But if you're wanting to give it a go there, the scent that you got given is a great range, the star sign scent, because it's based on star signs. So that's an easy way. You know their birthday, and they're a really great range of perfumes there. But you can go and find the one that they're wearing at the moment. And the way that I often do it is you jump online and you go, let's say it's Chanel Chance Fragrance Profile, and it'll give you a breakdown of what's on the top, the middle, and the base. And then you can jump onto our site and you can put a few of those ingredients in, and you'll see which ones have kind of got a little bit of a match there. But the other way that's really fun is most of our brands also have a discovery range. So they're like little mini ones. I've got some of them here where it's a great way of sort of discovering a whole range, but just in like little mini atomizers. And then that's a way for them to find the one that they like.
That's so lovely. Yeah, that's a great idea. And then also, I guess I must also flag that some fragrances or essential oils need to be avoided during pregnancy, particularly in that third trimester as well. So you always need to check, or, I know you guys are pretty open to discussion on your social media platforms, and you've also got a quiz on your website, which is really, really useful to help decide what, might be the fragrance, and the fragrance you're attracted to. Is that what you say? But I guess it can also change on your mood and the seasons and all of that, can't it? Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's often when people come in, I have a scent station set up here in Bondi, and people can come in and discover the range here if they can. And it's very rare that people only choose one scent. There's often a range, because you're exactly right, Dallas. Mood, season, our cycle, our stage of life, all of those impact on our perception of smell, and how it affects us. But particularly also memories. So because scent is right near the same part of our brain as our memories sit. And so you can often take in a smell and you're straight back in that moment again and reliving it. Whether that's good or bad, who knows?
Yeah, but it's so true. That's often what attracts so many people to fragrance, isn't it? Those memories, and particularly like with candles, especially, can create that certain mood. So let's just go back, and can you give us a little bit more information on green beauty, natural beauty, clean beauty, and if they're all the same terms or they're different, and sort of some key things that people might want to look out for when they're seeing those terms?
Yeah, so within the natural space, part of the confusion is not just around ingredients and what's in there, but even the words that are used, even within green beauty in a way. And it's why I do encourage as much as possible for people to do a little bit of research and understanding and go beyond just what's on the front of a product. Because there's no real regulation within the industry, not just within perfume, but even within the labeling of things that are considered to be natural or green or clean. So natural can literally mean anything within the marketplace. So you really do want to actually turn a product around and have a look and see what ingredients in there are actually natural or certified organic or things like that. So from our point of view, natural is about it's actually come from a natural plant ingredient. It hasn't been manufactured or synthesized within a laboratory. Clean these days, clean beauty is considered to, they are allowed to use what's called safe synthetics. So over the past 10, 15 years, there's been a lot of the synthetics that have been used a lot within beauty and fragrance that have been now linked to hormone disruption, irritations of your lungs, neurotoxins, and ultimately cancer as well. So they are definitely a lot more not used, the phthalates and the BPAs and things like that. But then there's a range that have now been considered to be safe synthetics based on current research. The issue, though, for us at least, and for our own ethos, is some of that research doesn't span 20 years, 30 years, 3 generations down, because the hormone disruption in animal studies shows that it's not often the first generation it affects, it's the second or third generation. And some of the research just doesn't sort of go that far. So for us, we don't really think, safe synthetics are exactly that just yet, and so we prefer to go with the 100% green, 100% natural. So it's all really about having a little bit of a better looking for some certification. So a Cosmos certification and a natural certification you can actually find for brands that have gone that far, to then know that you can trust them just that little bit more.
And this is the beauty of you guys having Sensor.i.am, well, creating Sensor.i.am, because you've done a lot of that hard work for people. So people can go and see this beautiful range of fragrance that you offer and know that you guys have done that hard work and checked the quality of the fragrances, the background, the manufacturing and all of that. So I guess that takes out a lot of overwhelm for people and takes out that step. So on that note, fragrance note, do you want to show us a few of your favorite fragrances or some of the most popular ones in your range?
Sure. It's interesting. Always people want to know what's the most popular, which I find interesting because perfume can be so different for every person in terms of what they want, not necessarily the most popular. And then the other question they like to ask is, well, what's my favorite? And when you literally have a perfume counter in your workspace every day, I just get to play and go with what mood and things like that. But I did pull out, because Dahlas let me know that floral was your one in the scent quiz that came out. Yeah.
Yeah, it did in the quiz.
Yeah, that you might be interested in. So I pulled out a few of the floral ones here. You've got a beautiful, this is Vanessa Megan. So Vanessa Megan is from here in Australia, but she's been in the natural space here in Australia for like 15, 20 years. Beautiful skin care range as well as...
Yeah, I've used her skincare range. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So Monarch here is a lovely floral one, and is in a beautiful... the other reason why we choose our brands is because their bottles are just gorgeous as well. So the experience of perfume isn't compromised in any way at all. So you got lots of lovely florals in that one. And then from Vahi, there's like this boheme, which is has got a little bit more spice to it on top of some of the ylang-ylang and jasmine in there. So within floral... And
some of these fragrances are unisex, aren't they?
Yes.
Which is, I think,
actually,
is wonderful.
It's actually where the trend is going in the marketplace within fragrance. Traditionally, there was women's fragrance and men's cologne. But very much now, and it's an overall cultural change and shift and evolution, right, is that fragrance is now considered to be unisex. If you can like what you like effectively rather than what you've been told you have to like. So particularly each of them really, the Vahi brand itself is a unisex, all of them, in terms of their range. But then you've even got the beautiful Aura Soma range, which uses color therapy at the same time as scent therapy. So this has got the rose in it. So some people within floral like the jasmine floral. Some people want more of a rose floral or a geranium floral. So again, there's still quite a range within that as well.
Yeah, but they're gorgeous.
All beautiful.
I mean, they even just, they're just gorgeous on the shelf, don't they? And that's half the appeal. It's when you walk in, as you say, it starts not only with the smell, but vision, all of it. It's a whole, and such a special and unique gift. So I think,
it is.
Yeah. So tell us, just to finish off, the best advice, because we are going into Mother's Day, and predominantly a lot of the people watching this are beginning their journey into parenthood or have been doing the long haul through it. So what's the best advice you followed through your own journey?
I mean, motherhood is such a special and long journey. So I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old daughter. My 12-year-old is Portia and my 9-year-old is Sachi. And they love perfume as well now too. But in terms of through the journey of pregnancy, which I loved, it was a very special time for myself. The best advice I got was your body has got the intelligence of millions of years of evolution. Trust it.
Oh, that's amazing advice. It's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
And then in terms of the rest of the motherhood journey, it was to be really present because it goes really fast. And now that I've got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, it is so true. It literally, I could still feel like I had only just had them and they were breastfeeding and taking them to little high teas and little cute things like that. And now I've almost got a teenager. And of course it's tricky to be present like all of the time. We've got many things that we're doing, and being ourselves and doing things for ourselves is just as important. But it's reminding ourselves that they're actually not going to be this age ever again. So sit down, play some Lego for a little while you're watching Lego Masters, which is something we've been doing, because it just goes really fast.
Yeah, it does. And I think as well, I think it's so lovely as well, like what you said, we're going back to saying hormone disruption, natural fragrance is so important, not only for us, but generations to come. And introducing our children to a range like yours is also leaving a beautiful legacy. And I think that's so nice, that the education or even just the discussions happening. As you said, we don't have to put the perfect pants on, but maybe planting that seed, in our children and particularly our daughters, because I've got a daughter as well who's 10 and is starting to take an interest in makeup and fragrance and stuff, and just starting that education or that conversation, I think, so they can make more educated choices themselves is just so important as well.
Yeah, my children are very much converts. They will, if we're walking past a store, sometimes we'll go past a store and we can smell the synthetic fragrance. So just before we pass it, we go, hold our breath. We hold our breath until we go past it again. So they are very aware at just being conscious in their decisions rather than what is a celebrity wearing and I want that. It's actually more, let's have a further look into it and care about what we're placing on our bodies and ultimately then the planet at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Now, to finish off, Jessica, just tell us where everyone can find you guys.
Sure. So you can find us online at Sensor.i.am, and that's Sensor.i.am.com. And also here, obviously, on Instagram at Sensor.i.am. And you can reach out to us there and do the scent quiz, find out what is your particular scent profile. But also I love helping people to do that matching as well. So do reach out and I can help you find the one that you might really like.
Yeah, that's so true. And I'm very lucky that Sensorium are supporting my next pregnancy workshop, which is on the 15th of May. And so if you come along to that workshop, you get a special little exclusive gift in the goodie bag, which means you actually will be able to have a consultation online with Jess to help navigate through the fragrances, not only during pregnancy and motherhood, but it might even just be a gift for someone else. So that's a really special thing. So I'll put all those links below. And also if anyone has any questions, because often people will watch this live, not have time to comment or add questions, or you might watch it later on, please just post them below because I'm sure Jessica or myself will get back to you and we'd love to answer those questions because it's a really important discussion.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your time, Jessica.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Dahlas. See you then.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.